What's up, gamers? How the heck are you? My name is Epic Pins, and in today's grounded video, I want to talk about one of the hottest topics that has been on everybody's mind since the release of the test server for the Bug Strike Back update. Now, I know you guys already know exactly what it's going to be, mainly because based off the title is why you clicked it, but we're going to talk about armor. Now, before we get into this, I do want to just emphasize that this game is still pre-release. It is still very new, even though it is technically 2 years old. It is still very new, and the devs are working every day, I'm sure, to try to fix every little thing that bothers every little person about this game. But one of the biggest things we need to mention is that this game is different than when it started. For those of us who have been here well before even the Crow was put into the game, it's changed a lot. It's not the same game. It has changed a lot. There are different ways to play it now than there ever have been before. So we just have to keep things like that in mind. We spend a lot of time critiquing the little nuances that get changed, and then we get, we spend a ton of time critiquing the large changes to the game. But I feel like we spend a lot of time critiquing these little things and not really remembering that this game's growing. And as it grows, it changes, and we just have to accept that. But that doesn't mean we're always going to be, happy with every change that happens. So the way to get things working better is to simply offer a critique, but without being a total, butthole. And, that's the nicest way I can say that. So without further ado, let's just get into talking about it. We're going to try to make this quick. I just want to bring up 2 points about this and then talk about some good things about it. So let's get into this real quick and see you in the video. All right, so these are all of the current full armor sets in the game. I chose to not do the one-off sets or like the little, like the gas mask or the bubble helmet or anything like that, just because those are minor things that you use throughout the game, usually for about 1 to 2 time use, and then you don't really use it again. But full sets are something that you wear constantly, even from the start of the game. So I tried to line these up. I think I got them right. So you're gonna have all your tier 1 armors into your tier 2 armors, all the way to your tier 3 armors. Now, these are fully upgraded. These are both the sleek and the buff route, or the bulky route. I'm sorry, I keep saying buff, but the bulky route and the sleek route, I did buff so I could see the differences as we upgraded them and to see what we're working with here. Now, one of my 2 main critiques, and I do have 2 of them. One, there is still no reason to upgrade lower tier armor. Now, I do not hold the same premise as a lot of people that state that they need to make lower tier armor more viable in the long run. I disagree with that. They need to make lower tier armor more viable in the early stages. So, tier 1 armor currently, still, in order to get it all the way to level 9, either bulky or your sleek route, it's going to take berry leather or pupa. Now, my problem with it is a lot of people are going to want to use the tier 1 armor. It's not going to be your heavy hitting, so what's the point of taking it bulky, right? Well, you want to use it for the extra perk to get it to the sleek route. Well, pupa is up in the upper grasslands, so that means you're going to have to travel past coal, wolf spiders, fire, wolf spiders, so you got fire, and then you also have the larva, the ladybird larva, which is the bugs from hell. So none of these are going to be viable enough to even use up there. So unless, and I could be mistaken, unless they've moved pupa pods to somewhere else, more, scattered across this yard, easier to find or whatever, you're probably not going to worry about that. So there is no reason to have these upgradable. They're not viable for early game. Because the truth is, I don't want them to be viable for late game. That doesn't make any sense. What would be the purpose of making these viable for late game? Because then you have no reason to move on to the higher tier armor. Why would I waste my time collecting antlion parts, something much harder to kill, than collecting clover leaves just to make clover armor? That would be insane. Other than just, oh, I like the look of this, but in my opinion, how the tier system works is fine for most of it, but you should want to move on to the next tier armor. That's how every survival game I've ever played worked. You had the base first tier or your first levels that you had when you start the game. They're usually made in some games like hide, your lower tier stuff, and then you move on to metal and you get metal armor, and then some games you move on to like tech gear, stuff like that. But that's how this game is based. It's the easier stuff to come by for your lower tier armor, then it's your medium stuff to come by for your second tier armor, and then it's the harder stuff to come by for your, that have a little less drop rates, stuff like that. My only critique here really with the upgrading is that these are not viable for early game, because you're not going to waste your time. You're going to spend a small fraction of the game in this armor. So that being the case, make this ability to upgrade these not cost necessarily less, but cost different things. It shouldn't cost pupa hide or pupa leather, whatever, to upgrade this to the sleek route, because people might want to use the regenerative properties of this for a little extra boost, but they can't do that, and they're not going to want to do that for later game because they have this. When you're hitting me and it's taking so many, it would take one hit from a wolf spider to knock me out with this wearing cloak, but it takes me 5 hits with a fully upgraded roly-poly armor. So it's like, what would be the purpose of me ever wearing this? That's my critique with this. Then that's really the only main one for this. The only other minor techniques is some of these sleek routes aren't worth it, and I really think there's a way for us to get around that. I don't necessarily think that it's a problem that it's not worth it. It's that you don't know up front that it's not worth it, in a sense. So you get to tier 6 and you can kind of see what it does, but you're not 100% sure what it exactly does. And then you think, oh, if I upgrade it, it's going to have a lot more viability. Sometimes it just doesn't. One example that people have been picking on is it's this one, the sleek route for poison damage. Poison damage isn't great in this game. I honestly think spider armor is severely it's not even underrated. It's not even underutilized. I hate that spider armor isn't more like it doesn't do more. It doesn't have more defense, and it doesn't offer you more in the sleek terms. I think that it should offer you so much more, being that it's literally created from the hardest creatures to kill in the game. They're the most stressful, maybe not late game, but especially mid, and even, wolf spiders even late game are super annoying. They still can kill me fairly easily if I'm not paying attention or not hitting my perfect blocks. And now that they've reduced the status effect that helps you out with your poison, how much poison damage you take, now that they've reduced that to 75%, not 100% protection, you can get taken out now pretty simply if you're not paying attention or not wearing decent armor. I felt like this has always been I think this should be tier 3 armor, and it should have a lot more defense. This should be tier 3's light armor. They should make this a light armor, bump it up a little bit more on defense, and put it in tier 3 and make it the light armor. But whatever. So just aside from that, but there are a lot of things that just doesn't, I don't know. There's a lot of things with like just little things with armor. Like, why is Koi not allow me to breathe underwater? I don't want to get into that. We're gonna step away from that. Bees are annoyed by me. Great. I haven't even killed a bee, and this is a custom game. I haven't even killed a bee in it. Sorry, guys. But I'm sorry. I thought I was about to get attacked by bees right now. So just to top it all off, because I don't want to make this a super long video, just to top it all off. 1, early stages need to be severely lowered, and different things need to upgrade. It does not need to be pupa leather for the sleek route, because once again, you're not going to want, by the time you get to the upper yards, you're not going to be using this lower tier armor. Maybe ant, you'll throw that on just to go into the ant hill. That's what I do. But other than that, you're not using it. Other than that, and why does black ant armor not do the same thing that red ant does for the black hill? Really? Why would that ever change? I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent on this. Okay, I'm trying to stay cool, but that's something that should definitely be changed. But once again, guys, take this as it comes, because it's like it could change. The next update, they could literally just change everything around again, because they're like, you know what, maybe it would work better this way. So just give your feedback and allow the devs to really read into it. So just to recap, make this, for me, this would be reduce the cost of this, I know they reduced it. They've reduced it a lot, and thank God they finally reduced a bunch of it. It's not does not cost as much as it did in the public test servers, which is absolutely amazing. It costs way less, which is awesome. And hopefully grubs start dropping more hide. That would be awesome too. But make this cost less or cost different things to get sleek, because there's no point in getting to sleek with these at all. So that it just makes them useless. So fix that. And boost some of the perks, make them more viable, and allow me to see what that perk will be and what it truly does before I waste my time upgrading it. That would be another thing. So allow me to see what it is prior to wasting my time collecting and upgrading, because I don't want to collect a bunch of pupa hide if I'm not going to like what it's going to give me. Does that make sense? So let me know its thirst rate before I get there to use a dog. Technically it kind of does, but let me know how much and what it really benefits me, because if I level this all the way up to thirst and I can't undo it, that's gonna make me annoyed, even though I know what it does and I tested it here in my open world here. But like that's I shouldn't have to open a whole new game and test things out to know if it's viable or not, you know what I'm saying? So those are my two critiques. Fix those things, and I think we'll be, you know, we'll be on a good step forward when it comes to armor. If you guys like this video at all, please hit that like button below. It does help with the algorithm. If you end up liking me at all, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I try to post 2 to 3 videos a week, and I'm gonna start going live once a week. I will let you guys know at the beginning of the week what day of week I'm gonna go live, just because it's gonna be random because of the way my wife works and because of my baby. She does need attention. Children need attention. Who would have knew? You know, who knew, right? So I do have to be available for her. So bear with me there, but I will try to go live as much. I use my lives really just to talk to you guys. So if you guys just want to stop in and chat, that's really what it's for, just to hang out with you guys and talk about the game. So anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.